Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, home of the Silver YouTube Creator Award for crossing over 100,000 subscribers. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is a woman's prerogative. We want to say hello to all of our friends at E360 TV. Thank you for being here. And of course, hello to our friends on Amazon Fire and all of the social media platforms. Our show today is all about travel, things we love and things we loathe. I'm not alone doing this show. Joining me from Australia is my dear friend and one of our loyal founders of this platform. Her name is Mariska Dupria, and she's had a very interesting journey and career, and we've known each other now for just about 6 years. She's a company called Journey to Discover, and she is a transformation and leadership coach. She's ICF and PCC certified. She's also an author and a songwriter. Let's welcome her to the program. Hi, how are you?
Hello. Well, I am happy to be here with you and discussing our wonderful topic, because I know that you are getting ready for a little bit of travel.
That is correct. I put together the itinerary yesterday because I had some from the British School of Excellence and then all of the travel to go to the different countries. And I'm telling you what, I was exhausted. It's like, I don't know how I'm going to do all this. And especially I'm by myself for the second week going into different countries, but it's going to be fun. So we're going to jump into it. And just a little bit of background for you. So you're from South Africa, and then I don't know if it's in this order, but then you moved to Australia. I mean, you moved to New Zealand, and then you moved to Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you really get around.
This is immigration moving, right? So it's not packing a suitcase to go on holiday type of travel. This is more packing the whole house type of travel. So yes, there's a bit of a difference to what you are planning on doing, which is packing a suitcase, hopefully not the whole house, and then just going for a little bit and going back home then afterwards.
Well, when you move from one country to another, I really don't know how this works. What is involved and how far in advance do you have to, apply to governments, or what exactly do you have to do?
Oh, well, that depends on the country. And it depends on what sort of visa you have. There's a whole bunch of things that I would suggest you speak to somebody that is very versed in all the legalities of the country that you want to move to. Things to take into consideration is, of course, what sort of visa you need to move and be in that other country. Even just normal travel, something that you need to consider. And then other things to take into consideration would be, well, what you are taking with you, what you are not taking with you, how all of that might work. And of course, because you will be moving countries, not just going on a holiday, it is quite a bit of a different experience in general. There's a whole bunch of things that I remember we did initially back when we were in South Africa, looking at New Zealand to try and prepare ourselves for what it might be like. And we looked at things, for example, like living cost, right? What is it that a house would cost you to stay in renting? buying, what might a vehicle cost, what is fuel prices like, what might food be like, more or less, for the things that you eat. If you have children, what's required within that space, school-wise, how does the school system work? Because no, they do not work the same. You will find that when you move to a different country, all of a sudden they do all sorts of weird things. For example, in South Africa, we normally start a school year at January, which I know the US, you guys start your school year somewhere in the middle of the year, which to me is just odd. But in South Africa, we also have our summer break in December, because guess what? We do not have a wintry Christmas. So it is a different way of living and being. And then we move to New Zealand. Now, in New Zealand, if you are new to school and you're starting school in South Africa, typically in the year that you turn 6, I think it is, you will go to school. Anything before that would be preschool. In New Zealand, in not the year that you turn 5, but actually when you turn 5, you go to school. So if you have your birthday in January, you will go to school just after your birthday. If you have your birthday in November, guess what? You will only be in school then in November after your birthday when you turn 5, which I find really, really odd. But it's because I didn't grow up with it. It is something that they did grow up with. So there's a whole bunch of things to take into consideration when you are moving countries, other than just packing luggage to go on the plane. So yes, I am not sure whether that gives you any clarity, Dr. Jacalyn.
Yes, it does. It does, definitely, because I really had no idea about that. And I think mentally, you really have to prepare yourself. If you're moving from South Africa to New Zealand, that's a completely different culture. And then you move from New Zealand to Australia. So what kind of mental, emotional preparation did you make for each of these huge moves?
Well, not nearly enough for either one of them. I think the biggest thing is we don't really realize how much of a mental, emotional, spiritual, even physical experience it is for us to move. We think about the things like logistics, getting the bags packed, making sure that the house is sorted out, ensuring that all the things are tied up on the one end that needs tying up, such as your medical insurances and life insurances, whatever else it might be that you have for living in that country. And then, well, starting the new ones in the other space. So there's logistics within that space, as well as, well, we literally uprooting ourselves. So if you think about a full-grown tree, and you are replanting a full-grown tree on a new continent or a new island, in the case of New Zealand, it is quite different. The environment is different. The space is different. The people are different. There's so many things that we cannot even think about before we move because we just do not know about it. I think every time what I have realized is once you have made a move like that, no two is ever alike. So even making the second move, there's still new things that popped up for us, and for me specifically that I know of for a fact. So understanding what that is. And then I think, Dr. Jacalyn, there's also a little bit of a grieving process that happens, or that I've experienced in any case, that you go through, because you are leaving behind not only friends and family, you are leaving behind a whole culture, a whole way of being in this one space. And now you are going to a different space where they are being different, and hence you need to see how that might work and not work for you within that space, and what works and not work for you in that space. So there's a tremendous identity movement within that I am not sure how do you prepare for something like that. Life has a tendency to help us throughout to prepare for things, and yet when we are in it is typically the time when we get to experience it most viscerally. So there's a lot of preparation we think we can do before we travel, and yet the travel itself in itself is an experience that we then get to experience and make it visceral for ourselves. I think the main preparation, that if ever there is something that I would give as a tip or a trick for when you are moving, even when you are just traveling in general, is thinking about the way you want it to feel and making that your intention. So you guys might remember that we spoke about intentionality in the previous show last week. And the same goes for traveling. So being intentional about how we go about when we travel, and think about how do I want this experience to feel like? How do I want it to be like? And what is it that I need to do that would help with that? And then, hopefully you can bring that into life. And with that being said, Dr. Jacalyn, have you found anything very helpful for travel in general?
Well, thank you for sharing all of that. In November, I went to London, and the last time I was in London was 2018, and it was on a business trip when I was in corporate. So it was different. Everything was paid for and all the arrangements were made. And so this time I had to make all the arrangements. And the one thing that I truly realized that I'm really embracing for this trip is to pare down the amount of stuff that I'm taking, because I brought too many clothes. And this particular trip, I'm going from one country to the next, to the next, to the next. I'm going to be on trains and planes, and without assistance, because you can't always guarantee that they're going to have carts. I have to be able to move quickly, and I have very long nails. So I have to pack less stuff than what I took the last time. And that's difficult because I'm going from an environment where I need to be dressed up. There's actually formal dress that's required for some of the things. And then, of course, I need my workout clothes. So I'm just going to be really true to myself about what do I actually have to bring with me, and what can I launder when I'm there. The Airbnb we're staying in has a washer and a dryer. So that's the one thing. What I found out last time, I left from Dulles Airport, and Dulles is outside Washington, D.C. And when I checked in, I had two bags, and one of them was my carry-on, and the other one was the big bag I was going to check. Well, the bag that was the checked-in bag was too big. Meanwhile, I've been using it as a checked-in bag endlessly, and they would not let me take it on the plane. So I had to check it. So then I have my personal item, which happened to be an unformed bag that had like a shoulder bag that I had my computer, my hard drives. And so I had to walk from one end of the airport through and clear to the international terminal, take a tram. And my shoulder was literally, because I wasn't expecting to be carrying, it was going to be on the carry-on bag. So now what I'm saying to myself is I have to be prepared. I better take a different carry-on bag. And of course, it's going to be a lot smaller. So I need to bring less stuff. And the other thing is that in London specifically, especially with my hosts, Philip Sykes and Leanne Milton, there's a lot of walking involved. There's a lot of trains. There's a lot of tubes. And so I have to be able to quickly maneuver myself. So I have to find a way to be professional, to be a fashionista, and to have less stuff so that I am not encumbered by bags and things. And to add to that, one of the days when we're in London, we're going to something called Royal Ascot, which is I think something similar, correct me if I'm wrong, but to the Kentucky Derby, and all women are required to wear hats. So I have to purchase a hat because I don't have one. And so I'm going to get a hat in London. One of our future guests actually is an artillery. I don't know how you say that, but she owns a hat business, beautiful hats. And so I have to figure out how will the giant, beautiful hat get back to the States because I'm not going to be taking it with me on the train and on the plane to all these other cities. So that's going to be something else that I have to figure out.
Oh, well, it sounds like there's a very specific set of requirements for this specific trip.
And you know what? I'll see if I can find the hat. I think the hat is quite lovely, and I'd love to have your opinion on it. So this hat is handmade. Here it is.
Ooh.
What do you think of it?
Wow.
How do you think it will look on me?
That is a lovely hat, Dr. Jacalyn. Anything looks brilliant on you. I am thinking you will be rocking the hat.
Here it is. Here's the hat, and here's me. And there's the name of the woman who designed this hat, Mitzi Atelier. So we want to give her a big shout out. She's in London, and she's also in New York.
Well, I am thinking most probably you will need a hat case, which I know I'm hoping you still get hat cases, because a hat like that would definitely need its own little suitcase.
It does.
And yes, just for the going back is enough. It can stay in the wherever the most prominent residences for the in-between travels.
Well, you know what's so interesting is that hats can take on a life of their own. And I happen to like hats. I have a number of hats. Like when I'm in the summer, or if I go for a walk where I am now, I typically will always have a hat on because I don't want anything on my hair. I don't have to worry about skin cancer on my face. And I like hats, but hats make a statement and they take up space. And you have to be able to find a space for said hats. And then, of course, the other thing is, excuse me, once you wear that hat, where do you wear it again? I mean, where am I going again with that hat? So we shall see. But they give you the ability to rent the hat, and they rent it by the day. But when you figure out how much it is, it really makes sense just to buy the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, just buy it.
I'm thinking, well, you can always go to the Kentucky Derby.
That's right. That's going to be next on my list. It's going to be next on my list. But, we're going to take a quick break right now because we're talking a little bit about fashion. And I love because we're talking about travel, and you can travel different parts of the world where there are known fashion capitals. We have a brand new sponsorship, and it's from Philip Sykes, the British School of Excellence. It's from his wife, Kerry Sykes, and she has her own line of swimwear. So Kerry Sykes founded Baye London, BAYE London. We're going to take a look at this sponsorship. It's brand new, hot off the press, and then we'll be right back with A Woman's Prerogative. Stay with us.
In a world that moves fast, there's strength in the woman who moves with grace. Introducing Baye London, where confidence meets craftsmanship. Each piece is intentionally designed for the woman who knows her worth, crafted from luxurious Italian eco-fabrics that feel as good as they look. With elegant coverage, effortless support, and timeless style, our swimwear celebrates both your body and your essence. Founded by fashion expert Kerry Sykes, Baye London is made for women who want to feel sexy, stylish, and seen. From poolside to beachside, sunrise to sunset, Baye London outfits you for every moment that matters. Because beauty isn't about age, it's how you wear your confidence. Baye London, confidence, elegance, effortless luxury. Visit BayeLondon.com. Act now for your exclusive friends and family discount of $35. Scan the QR code. Baye London, where confidence meets craftsmanship. Proud sponsor of USA Global TV and Radio.
Welcome back to A Woman's Prerogative, Sisterhood Across Borders. And thank you to Bay London and Carrie Sykes for that beautiful clip. Let's bring back Mariska Dupria and let's continue on with the show. Welcome back, my friend. What did you think of the Bay London clip?
Well, I know I'm in winter, but I so want summer, and one of those lovely pieces. They are beautiful.
They really are. They really are. So I get the honor and the privilege of directing these various commercials. And so I get to pull everything together. So graphic artist, voiceover expert, and then that's actually custom music that was created specifically for that video. And so I asked the team that does the custom music, I said, I'd like something that reminds someone of luxury, of elegance, of class. So, or how do you feel that that music aligns with that?
I think it aligns really, really well, and it felt really classy. I think the visuals of the pieces really well put together, as well as the feel that it gives. It feels like something that it's not just something that you would wear when you want to go swimming. It is also something that you can spoil yourself with.
That's right. Something you can feel sexy in.
Yeah. And shouldn't we feel sexy? I mean, that's part of being a lady, isn't it?
Absolutely. We have that all over the men, I think. But, you know, Mariska, it's funny. I have this large box of Christmas decorations, and it's been under the bed because I don't really put up a tree. It's a long story. But anyway, I saw something in the box. I pulled it out and I thought, what is that? Well, here there were a bunch of bikinis in the box. And I pulled them out and I thought, who the H is wearing this? And they're my bathing suits from 2019. So I thought to myself, and I didn't even want to put it on because I thought they look like they're for a child. So I thought, I don't know how I was wearing these bathing suits, but question for you. Do you think that for a woman, you know, we're talking about traveling and people like to travel where it's warm. You know, you're in winter now, so there might be some people who are traveling somewhere warm and they want to put on a bathing suit. They want to go to the beach. Do you think, in your opinion and experience, that when a woman gets to be a certain age, she is no longer really viably wearing a two-piece or a bikini or a thong or something that when she was younger she might be wearing? Do you think you automatically have to go to the one piece?
That is such an interesting question. And personally, I think, one, if you have the body for it, please show it off. Right. Two, if you feel comfortable in it, go for it. It is really up to the individuals. I have seen a lady a while back. She's most probably in her 70s now. This has been quite a while back. At that stage, she was in her mid-50s, close to 60s, and she had the body of an early 30-year-old. She looked really, really good. I cannot see why she wouldn't be wearing a two-piece or even a thong. If that is something that she's comfortable in, go for it. Personally, I've got my own issues with my body. I do like two pieces, and I do not get a lot of them that I like to wear. So I don't know, for some odd reason, the bottoms, the cut for some of the bottoms, either they make them low and wide, right? Or they make them skinny and long.
That's true.
It's so weird. And neither one of those styles actually suits my body. Like, okay, can we get something that's sort of in between the two? It would work better for me. I think that's the other thing. Getting swimsuits that actually suit you and your body. right? So for some people, they just don't have a body that works with a two-piece because they might not have a middle. It might look really weird.
Right.
And for other people, they don't have a body that works with one piece. So that looks really weird. So I think it is really dependent on what works for you and thinking about your own personal preferences and styles and things like that. And then going for that. If I think about the video that we just watched, there was one piece, was black. It was a one piece. It had a sort of belt in the middle thing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, I like that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something that I would most probably go for if I were to choose. I do have a whole bunch of two pieces in my closet. Some of them which I would still wear because they actually work. Not sure whether the elastic in them are still wearable.
Why does that happen? Over time, your elastic just gets all stretched out.
And then it's your favorite piece. It's like, oh, I love this piece. It's so good. And then you take it out of the cover. It's like, okay, need another one, and you can't find it again.
It's not happening. It's not happening. Yeah. I think this is a funny bikini story. Do you want to hear it?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so when I got married in 1993, okay, we went on a honeymoon and we went to Hawaii. And I had purchased this bathing suit, and it was by a designer called Moschino. I don't know if they're still in business or not, but it was a beautiful bathing suit. It was sort of strings, and it was made out of crushed velvet, really. And they looked like playing cards. So there was a diamond, and then there was a heart, and then the bottom, and you tied it on the side. And it happened to be a thong. And I had no intention of actually revealing myself. I would just sort of sit down, slowly lie back. So my husband at the time, he said, what will it take for you to walk around this pool in that thong bathing suit? And I said, well, I did see a beautiful pair of shoes in the gift store in the hotel. And he said, how much were they? And I don't even remember what they were, but he said, okay, if you wear your heels and you walk around that pool twice and you're strutting your stuff in that thong, I will buy you. So I ordered a very large glass of wine, and then I proceeded to strut around the pool in my thong, in my heels. And then, of course, I did get those shoes that I wanted.
Good.
The best part of the story is that somewhere before this had happened, I got bit by a mosquito on one of my butt cheeks. So I had a Band-Aid on it. So this person was wearing this string bikini in high heels with a Band-Aid across my butts. But I did get the shoes. That's all I care about. If anybody was there back in 1993, I'm very sorry that you were exposed to that. Probably traumatizing.
Well, not even a mosquito bite prevented you from strutting your stuff and getting the shoes.
Because, I'm all about the gold star. So I wanted those shoes. That's what it was. This is what you have to do to get the shoes. So that's what I did. But I don't believe, since I told you about the bikinis that I just found from 2019, I think, except for when I turned 60, and I'm now 62, on my 60th birthday, I remember I was in Florida with my mother, and I took a picture of myself in my bikini and posted it on social media. And I guess there's something when you get to be older and you think to yourself, you know what? I'm going to stand a certain way and the sun's coming in a certain way. I'm taking this picture so I can look back and say, when I was 60, I was still wearing a bikini. But would I actually go to a beach wearing a two-piece bathing suit? No, I would not. I do not wear bathing suits anymore. I will wear my little skirt, like a little Lululemon, not a pink spokesperson, a little skirt and a little workout top. That's what I'll wear. But no, I'm not wearing a bikini, and I'm not going to wear a thong. Those days, my friends, are over.
Interestingly enough, I would I'll wear the bikini underneath one of those beautiful, I don't know what they're called, sarongs.
They're flowing. They're beautiful flowing sarong, I think.
Yeah. So they see through typically, right? There's not a lot of material in them, but that's what I would wear. I would wear the bikini or the whatever it is that I feel like. I normally don't wear thongs in bikinis or swimwear in general. As I said, I have issues. I'm well aware of them. So I do not do thongs. But I will wear said bikini and then the sarong over it. And to me, that looks very elegant. So
Yeah.
I would go for the whatever is the thing that makes me feel sexy, right? And looks elegant. Yep, I'll do that. And if I want to then go in the water, which typically doesn't happen often, I can always just take it off and go in the water. That's fine. So that's probably what I would be ending up doing.
Well, Mariska, what's interesting? You and I are from different generations, right? We know that we've already put that out there to the world. The younger generation, even younger, I see at the gym. I see at these various fitness classes that I go to. And for example, Solid Core, which not a paid spokesperson, but their whole thing is basically that your core is strong, right? So it's not just the front, it wraps all the way around. So many people will be wearing something exposing their core. And not everyone is concerned with how they look, right? Some people are just, because to me, I don't want to be wearing something and then I'm just going to say skin hanging over. I don't want any skin that is sticking out per se. But I have to say to the women out there who have the confidence and they let it all hang out, even tiny little shorts on somebody who's like a size 10, good for you. And I mean that, good for you. I wish I had the confidence to do that, but I don't. So one day, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was getting ready quickly to go and work out at Solid Core. And I thought I had a shirt in my bag, but I didn't. So I had on like a big jacket and then I had my workout bra, my pants. So when I got there, I was horrified to find out I had no shirt and I was going to have to expose my stomach. And I really was traumatized because I was waiting to the last minute. They bring the lights down and then they just have blue lights around the floor. But I waited to that last minute when the lights came down. And then I was like, and I thought to myself, I am really strong. I have a really strong core. But I'm 62. It's not like a 20-year-old stomach. So I really applaud people out there who have the confidence, regardless of what size you are, that you are confident in your own body. I think that is beautiful.
It is. It is. I'm with you on the having pieces of me that folds over my clothing. I'm not a fan for myself. And if you feel sexy and it is something that you are confident wearing, go for it. It's really, I think it's an individual thing. It's really around what we feel good in. And I mean, even in my 20s, did I wear bikinis? Yes, of course I did. Did I wear it just without literally going to the swimming pool and then coming back, strutting around like you did, Dr. Jacalyn? No, I did not. It's not what I am cut out to be doing. I don't like it. It's not something that I would necessarily go, oh yeah, I think this looks great. Typically, I would cover more of my skin. Plus, I have the very unfortunate or fortunate, I don't know, very light complexion. So if the sun sees me, it attacks with vigor. And I will go all red, which is not a lot of fun. So I have come to the conclusion at a very young age to cover more of myself and be okay with that. And I don't have the need to expose big pieces of myself. And in saying that, I do really, really feel that people that's able to do that, I mean, absolutely go for it. Go for it. Because, I mean, it's what you feel good in. So do what you feel good in.
It's true. You have to feel good in your own skin. And I have to say, for me, I mean, you know that I have eczema. I've got an eczema flare on my neck now. It's been going on for, I don't know, probably a month, even though I'm using Dupixent. I'm sure it would be a lot worse than what it is now, but I don't want any sun on my skin, because if I wasn't injecting the Dupixent, I already have skin problems, so I don't want to put myself out into the sun. So I'm that person who's wearing the big hat and the glasses and the long sleeves. And even though I am on an island right now, and the beach is very close by, I have not been on the beach. I don't go on the beach. When I go for a walk, I try to go later in the day, typically around 4 o'clock. And again, I got the whole thing on, and I look ridiculous. I mean, I'm just telling you, I don't look like I fit in. I look like there's something weird, but I don't care, because I'm protecting my skin. And my mom had, I think, 72 skin cancers, because she used to play tennis out in the heat of the day. And seeing, that Mohs surgery where they cut into your skin and they have to keep testing it to see if there's cancer. I'd have no interest in doing that. So keep your beautiful skin the way that it is. But for people who can go out in the sun and they're hopefully putting on lotion, again, good for you. Do you?
Yes. And I am sure that the people looking at you with your sunglasses and whole attire to keep the sun away will go, oh, that person is really brave to walk around with so much clothing on. What the hell's going on? So we all have a different thing that we are doing. And as long as it is you doing you, I think you're good.
Well, thank you. I think it's funny because I'm in this beach town and, I'm working all the time, because to me, it's not work. I love it. But I'll go to get something to eat. And I'm wearing, I'm dressed to the nines, and people are in T-shirts and bathing suits and flip-flops. And I know I really stand out, but I don't care, because this is the business that I'm in, right? This is the business that we're in. So we're on television, and I'm just doing me. But going back to the travel, because we're running out of time, let's talk about something that we really don't like about traveling. What comes up for you?
Airports.
Yes.
I'm not a fan. It's a love-hate relationship with me in an airport. I don't mind an airport when I'm familiar with the airport, right? So if I've been there once, I'm good. The only one that I'm not too sure about is the one in Dubai. Have you ever been to the Dubai airport?
I have not.
Dr. Jacalyn, it is huge. It has trains to go between terminals.
Yeah.
It is extremely big. So that's the one where, and I think that's the thing that I don't like about airports. It feels like I can easily get lost and for some odd reason then miss my flight, right? And not get to the place where I'm supposed to be going. Which I know, technically speaking, won't be the end of the world, because I can get another flight. And it's extra stress and extra hassle and extra everything else. So that's one of the main reasons why I'm not a fan of an airport. I do not mind the ones that I'm more familiar with, and smaller ones, typically, a little bit easier. But places like Dubai, it's overwhelming. You have a certain amount of time. So if you have an hour layover, right, your hour is literally taken up by moving from one terminal to another terminal. And that's it. You can't see anything. You're literally rushing from one spot to the next, and hopefully an hour is enough, because it is really, really big. So for me, that is the one piece about travel that I'm not a fan of. Maybe if I do it more regularly, it might get better. But my other problem is I'm not a fan of flying, because I get motion sickness and my ears aren't the greatest. So the up and down and the pressure releasing, and no, not my cup of tea. How about you, Dr. Jacalyn?
Well, mine has to do with air travel. When I was growing up, my mother really instilled in my sister and myself that when you were on an airplane or you're on a train, that you should be dressed a certain way because it was really a luxury. And of course, now people don't look at it as a luxury and they dress accordingly and they act accordingly. But I remember way back in the days when I used to travel for work, when I was just, in my first job, my second job, and it was about getting dressed up, oh, I'm taking an airplane today. I'm going to be dressed up. And then you would carry yourself in a certain demeanor. But now, I mean, I think seriously, I think sometimes people, when they have an early flight, they just come in their pajamas. They come in their pajamas and then they get on the plane. And I don't know what it is about air travel. People they take off their shoes. They put their feet up onto your thing. They're pushing your seat. I don't really like any of that. And I try, if I can, to always get an aisle seat because I want to be the one who's getting up instead of asking other people to get up. But I don't really love air travel. And especially going from the States to Europe, you leave typically 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, and you get there in the morning. So for me, it's hard to sleep in that environment. So you basically are going a night without sleep. So I don't love that. On the way back, it's no big deal because you're leaving in the morning and you get there in the afternoon. But the flight over is not my favorite.
Yes. It's interesting that you mentioned the whole how we dress when we fly. So one of the things that we would typically do is dress smart casual, right? So I will have very, very comfortable shoes on. I have done high heels and airports once. No, that's not a great idea. So comfortable shoes, but still neat, right? So the rest still have a tailored jacket type of thing, maybe a pair of neat jeans, not the ones that's ripped to shreds. Not that I have any of those in my closet. So yes, it's interesting to see what people decide to wear. I have had a few interesting types of outfits that I saw before, including flip-flops. Not bikinis. I have not seen a bikini on an airplane yet. So hopefully,
I've seen a tube top. Remember tube tops from back in the day?
Yes.
I've seen tube tops.
Tube tops, yes. Bikinis, not so much. All sorts of interesting footwear, which may or may not be regulatory, depending on. My biggest thing is always, okay, so you get on the airplane, right? We hope that said airplane will get up on the side and land on the other end and there won't be any problems. The thing is, if for whatever reason there is a problem, buddy with the flip-flops, what's the plan? Because one, they won't last that long. And two, you don't know where we're landing, so you might have very sore feet.
That's true. The shoes have to be functional. I mean, there are days, and by the way, we have to close out soon because Justin's show is coming, but there were days when I first started in business and I would wear heels, and I don't believe that it is good for your feet to walk in high heels in an airport, regular. I don't know. I can't do it anymore. I don't do it. But there are many times, to your point about being in the airport in Dubai, you have to run. You have to get somewhere fast. And also you want to keep your feet safe. If you're wearing flip-flops and somebody runs over your foot with a bag or something, he drops it. So I think you should wear closed-toed shoes. But for me, I'm now wearing very stylish sneakers because I can run. Many times if there's a delay in the flight taking off or in a connection, I'll just take my bag and I start walking back and forth and I'm getting in some steps. So I'm getting some exercise while I'm sitting there waiting. So for me, that's what's most important. It's functionality and safety, because there have been times when I was running to catch a flight. I think it was in Chicago O'Hare, and I had to go from one terminal to the other. And I'm telling you, when I got there, I was dripping in sweat. My clothes were stuck to me, and they were just about to close the gate, and they let me in, and I was hyperventilating. Like everyone on the plane is looking. You're like, it's like not a pretty picture. And there's no way you could do that in heels. So that's what I think. But we've got to sign off, and we'll be back, of course, next week. But what would you like to share with people as we close out for tonight? Things we love and loathe about travel.
Well, I think for the love, make sure that you set your intention about how you want to feel when you are traveling. And this might also include for the places that you loathe being in during the travel. So how do you want your airport experience to feel like, for instance, if that is a place that you also don't like as much as I do? What might that be like, and what do you need to take with you? Do you need to go a little bit earlier? Do you need to plan your trip so that if you have connecting flights, they are a little bit further apart so you have breathing space? That sort of thing. Put that into your intention. And then, of course, for the loathing, well, try to mitigate as far as possible. And then setting that intention might be helpful to make it a little bit less loathful and a little bit more fun. And wherever you are traveling, have fun. I think that would be the biggest one. Have fun.
I love that. And how can people get in touch with you, Mariska, and who would you like to contact you?
So to get in touch with me, you can do that via my email, which you would see down below. It's Mariska, MARISKA, @journey2discover.com. And then you can also get hold of me via my LinkedIn or my website. So people to get hold of me, if you are a specialist moving into leadership, or you are already within the leadership space and you are looking at moving up in your leadership space and bringing a little bit more humanness into that space of yours and being the leader that you wish you had, you would be the person to come and speak to me so that we can make that dream a reality and have loads more wonderful leaders out there, because you make a big difference.
Thank you so much, Mariska. And for people who are listening on an audio platform, the Journey to Discover is JOURNEY, 2, discover, DISCOVER.com. We want to thank E360 TV for distributing this content across all of their platforms. And we want to thank everyone on YouTube watching, and also LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We could go on and on. And thank you to our sponsor, Bay London and Carrie Sykes. We will be coming right back with You as a Whole, Body, Mind, and Soul with Justin Merigliani and his guests. So until then, stay tuned, and we'll see you, Mariska and I will see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting. We're building bridges and changing lives, one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.